Spain did its job, didn't they? Just cannot find any fault in what we did. It was just superb. And it was a new test, a different test, a test of resilience and faith in the idea. It was brilliant. Today, Portugal, Slovenia, and before that, France, Belgium. So in today's episode of Coffee with Guillem, you'll get to see my reactions with the goals of Spain. You'll get to see my analysis of the game as well that I did for CBS. And I'm talking to Julien Laurens about France. But first, it's that time of the day. I was trying to be a little bit cagey with Spain because when it gets to knockout stages, everything gets a little bit more complicated. I think I said in the preview of CBS that we're not a team that scores many goals. That's one thing that we need to prove that we can do.
Spain arguably have been the best team in the competition. Is today going to be straightforward for them, do you think?
If they do what they've been doing, which is 70 minutes of constant, intense, pressure high, with teams that have been unable to build from the back, with the quality of the wingers especially, then you think, yeah, Spain should go into the next round. But I'm just going to throw there a big but. This is a Spain that hardly scores. We have got the biggest amount of clear chances of the tournament, 12, and we are the biggest side that has missed the biggest amount of chances, 9 clear chances. This is what let us down in Euro 2021 when we were in the semi-finals against Italy, created more chances, shot more often and didn't score. I just think that perhaps Georgia wouldn't pose the kind of threat that this bot, the big bot in my eyes, to win the tournament will be affected. But in any case, just you will see that there will be a lot of opportunities with a Spain that's much more direct than ever. We're 10th in the possession stats in the competition. We'll create chances. I'm sure we'll score. I'm sure we'll beat Georgia. But don't just put everything on Spain because we have that thing missing.
Anyway, the game came on and yeah, we could. Anyway, I decided to put a camera in our living room to see just how we celebrated whatever was happening in the game, including conceding the first goal.
Oh my God, own goal. First time they get it in our box.
Oh! Goal! Goal! Come on! Come on! Come on!
Bueno. Well done, well done. Good goal. Good goal.
Come on! Come on! Come on! 4 more now! 3 more now!
Second half started.
Oh! Save again! Yes! Yes! Come on! Come on! Come on! 2-1! Come on! Niña, mal.
A veces tiene cosas de Messi, Bueno, con las distancias.
16.
Goal de Niko! Goal de Niko! Niko Williams, that you all know thanks to my article.
Straight away after the win, cautiously optimistic, if you like, actually ecstatic that Spain had done so well. I went on CBS and this is my reaction of the game just after it happened.
We'd love to get your thoughts off top about how dominant they look tonight, but also, do you believe they're the best team so far in Euro 2024?
Yeah, I'll vote for that.
Well said.
It's quite clearly that this is a team that has got so many layers, and we were tested today. It was a different kind of test. How about if we play against a team that has got a line of 7 defending and then 3 in front of them, and also they go and score first. Okay, it was an accident, but it was 1-0 down. Are we patient enough to actually turn that around? Do we know how to do it? Do we have a calm head? And to be honest, the answer in the first half was not so sure. We're rushing. We're taking too many decisions too early. And Rodri, there was, especially in the second half, at the beginning of the second half, he actually got the ball and went with his head, with his hands down. It's like, calm down, guys, calm down, calm down. And then what he got was exactly that, just just a team that ended up leaving in around the box of Georgia, that in the second half was outstanding in the way how we were looking for, especially the players wide, how the goals came. Of course, how the appearance of Olmo helped, how we were so good recovering possession as soon as we lost it. And all in all, it was a really good performance against a team that was always going to make it difficult because there is no spaces when you play Georgia. And that's the hardest thing in football. You have to do so many things collectively and individually to beat these kind of sides. And in the second half, we've proven that, this is another test that has been passed.
I would like to explore Spain a little bit more in detail with a former international player, Spanish player, and that perhaps will happen in the next few days before the next game of Spain, the quarterfinals against Germany. But we move to today's games. I'm very curious to find out how Portugal play against Slovenia. They're going to have to take the initiative. They've got very good players, and they're on the way up. This is a team that started wanting the ball to the feet, but right now, you've got a team that actually runs in behind, that's got lots of layers, shoots from outside the box. Bernardo Silva's in a good form. So all that you need really to knock out Slovenia. But before that, it's France-Belgium. And I decided to talk to Julien Laurens, who better than him, to tell me details of what's happening with France, which at the moment, it doesn't feel is a harmonic place, and it certainly doesn't feel is the kind of team you should be fearful of. But knockout stages start, and that's France's speciality.
Yeah, I've been talking, of course, to everyone about France, and one of your great qualities is that you just don't hide to whatever is wrong. And yes, you're in the next round, but you don't seem happy with the way that it's been done, and it does feel like it could even be trouble ahead. It's not something that's easily sorted. Tell us more about it.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I thought the first game against Austria was just everything that this French team has been for the last 10 years, really, since Deschamps took over the job as the national team head coach. They were very physical because you have to be against this Austrian team. They were quite clinical. Not so much they missed a few chances, and one especially for Mbappé, but the way they scored on an own goal, the way they put pressure on that Austrian defense, the N'Golo Kante performance, the William Saliba, Upamecano, Mike Maignan performance, all of that. There was a lot of positives really from that 1-0 game. That was such a Deschamps-esque performance, if you want. So then you go into the second game against the Netherlands and you think, okay, more of the same, please. And we had all the Kylian Mbappe's nose drama and the mask drama and all of that. But even without him, I thought we would see a similar French performance. And to a certain extent, it was there. But then they were not ruthless in the Dutch box, for example, where they used to before. This is a team that built all its success on those big moments that they usually take it defensively, offensively. This is what they are good at. And against the Dutch, they were a little bit off it. Griezmann was off it. The midfield was a little bit off it, despite Kante. So we took that 0-0 draw thinking, okay, this is still not too worrying. The worry is maybe the chances missed. Again, Griezmann had two massive ones. But we can take that and we move on. 4 points after those two games against two good teams. Fair enough. But then Poland was horrible. It was really not good. Deschamps got his tactics wrong, his starting lineup wrong. The players didn't perform individually, collectively. Yeah, there were still some chances created against a really average team, but that was not enough. And I guess the worst maybe is that they took the lead. And usually when this team takes the lead, they don't give anything away then to the opposition. And yet they gave away a stupid penalty by Upamecano. That meant Poland scored. It was a draw. That meant we lost top spot in that group to Austria, and we ended up as second in the worst side of the draw than if we'd finished first. So that feeling of really underwhelming, there's an underwhelming sense of it in those three games. That I don't think it's all bad, but even Deschamps doesn't really seem at his best so far. I'm just hoping that everybody raises their game, starting against Belgium on Monday, and hopefully we see a better French team going forward.
L'Equipe keeps talking about or suggesting that there is a division between the Shams and the new players, the new generation of players. I don't know if you put down some of what's happening, the lack of fluidity, the lack of a France that knows exactly how to win, to the fact that perhaps not everybody's buying what the Shams is offering.
I think there's a bit of that. And also I think this new generation, between let's say 20 and 25, they want to play. Fofana wants to play. He comes on against the Poles after 87th minute. And then he comes to see us after the game and says, you know what, I'm happy to come and play 3 minutes, but what do you want me to do? 3 minutes, there's nothing I can do really. And also, by the way, if I want to do something, I need the whole team to be with me. I can't just go and press or just go and attack. So him, as lovely as he is, and I love Yusuf dearly, even was critical of Deschamps like that. But we've never seen that kind of criticism of Deschamps before. Certainly not from a Serb. Certainly from someone like Yusuf Fofana, who's lovely guy, great young player with a great future ahead of him. But he's nobody really when you think about a Giroud, a Griezmann, and Mbappé, those kind of guys, a Kanté. So this is the difference, I think, for Deschamps. He's been so good as managing all this talent that he's always had in all those generations in the last 10 years, often relying on the senior player in the squad, from Lloris to Varane to Giroud to those kind of guys, to now having the starting lineup to deal with, but also this very kind of hungry and thirsty young generation who they want to play. Barcola wants to play, Zaire Emery wants to play, Fofana wants to play, Konate wants to play, and right now they're not playing. And I think for me, he made a mistake before the Dutch game, because instead of having the usual team meetings that he's always had and that most of the teams have, he only took the 11 starters. The other 14 from these squads were left behind in their rooms, in the games room, in the restaurant, whatever they wanted to do. He only took the 11 that were going to start the next day against the Dutch. And that created a bit of a malaise in the sense that the other guys were like, hang on, what about us? And I'm not really sure why he did that, because he created, maybe not by desire, but he created a fracture between the 11 starters against the Dutch and the rest of the squad. And I'm not sure what kind of message you send to the rest of the squad, saying, well, I don't really need you for the team meeting because you're not involved. I'm not committing you into this. So I'm not sure that was wise from Deschamps to do that so early in the tournament. And I think, to go back to your initial question, some of the boys feel a bit like, well, we're here, we train, but then are we really involved in everything that this team is going through? Maybe not.
He has felt always the France were solid defensively, and then they had quality up front, and something happened. But Griezmann is not at his best. And Mbappé, yes, he tries, but do you think he's affected by a broken nose, or you will see his best version?
It's a good question. I mean, to start with, his second half of the season was obviously very complicated from February onwards all the way to May. Once he told PSG that he was leaving at the end of the season as a free agent to go, now we know, to Real Madrid, or we've known for years. But since then, obviously, he's only played 50% of the minutes of the PSG game. So I think physically, fitness-wise, he was maybe not as sharp as he would have been normally getting into this tournament. And then there's the broken nose, there's the mask to wear. He's had 4 different masks made for him until he found the right one. We saw against Poland that it still doesn't really feel right to him in his peripheral vision, just everything. So I'm hoping from this Belgium game on Monday, we will see the best of him, that he will come back a bit sharper, but he's missed chances. He hasn't felt completely right. And for Griezmann, I mean, I don't know. Deschamps said he was rested against Poland and not starting. He was dropped. Let's call it what it is. He was dropped. He's going to be back starting, I'm being told, on Monday. And that's a massive game. Massive game. Because if he starts and plays and don't do well and France lose and get knocked out in the last 16, I'm not sure if we will see Antoine Griezmann again with his shirt, with his blue shirt. Whether Deschamps stays or he goes after these Euros, I'm not sure we will see Griezmann at his age now after the tournament that he would have had. So he will start, and he better have a great game and inspire this team again like he can do. Whether he plays a bit deeper in the midfield 3, a bit higher up in a 4-4-2 or a 4-2-3-1 behind Kylian or Thuram if Kylian plays on the left, we will see. And I think he knows it. And usually in the past, he's been there in the big moments where we needed him the most. So let's see if he can do it again Monday.
How do you picture the game? What do you think it could happen against these two sides?
I mean, of all the teams that we could face, this is the one, Belgium, the first ever game France played in football, international game, was 120 years ago against Belgium. 1904, first ever game. This rivalry goes back then. We used to play against them in those early 20th century, like 7-8 times a year. This was the game. They're obviously the neighbors. There's a big rivalry with them. They're the butt of the jokes that we make. We are the butt of the jokes that they make to us. So it's those cousins that you love, but that you don't really like at the same time, if you see what I mean. Obviously, what happened at the World Cup in 2018 in the semi-final, the Umtiti goal, the France win 1-0, where Thibaut Courtois was outraged after, saying, well, they only defended, that's what they did, and we tried to play football, and I would rather lose by trying to play football than win by just defending. Eden Hazard had a go at us as well. So since then, that rivalry is even bigger in 2021 in the Nations League. We beat them in the semi-final 3-2, an incredible game. And again, it's still there. So it's going to be amazing. I don't know. They haven't been very impressive. We know that. They've been underwhelming, like the French so far. I'm not sure Tedesco is at the level that he should be with a squad like that. But I expect them to play better because it's France, because there's so much at stake, because it's in the knockout stages. So I think it would be a really good open game. I think we should have enough to beat them and qualify for the quarterfinals.
So I cannot wait. A little bit of a walk first in Palamos, a nice paella somewhere, and then football and football and football. And more coffee with Guillem tomorrow. See you then.